Let's go with that. Okay, that's on. Hi, Facebook people, or whatever you want to call yourselves.
People of the internet.
And I am going to put that back.
Second, to congratulate you, Dr. J, on
You're
your
too kind.
17 years of your Tuesday afternoon alternative. Pretty rad. Looking forward to what's to come.
Well
He's such a
said,
nice
Paul.
guy.
Well
yeah, right?
said.
Dude. Well, I feel weird sitting. So I'm
You're
gonna.
gonna stand.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
Well, I feel like I should put you on the spot.
Oh dear Lord.
Let me at least get a picture for. Oh wait. Okay, nope, that one was good.
Okay.
I was gonna say I tried to not get super backlit, but the clouds come through pretty well.
Ooh, that is nice.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at photos of yourself when you put on a little weight. All you see is, damn, that belly's obvious.
Oh.
But,
Yeah, having a body's fun, isn't it?
okay, define fun. No. Oh, let's see. It seems like I should put in a whole bunch of Kyleen.
So you have the new song, right? Tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay,
There you go.
I thought-
There's a good one.
I thought so. I know. I just got it so.
Yep. And different than your other stuff. Don't. I was gonna
Much
say, don't you
different.
think? Now, was it purposeful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to write I wanted to write an '80s song. Well.
Oh, really?
I played a Prince tribute event, and I've always enjoyed Prince, but I don't think I ever played much of his music. So I was coming off of that when I started writing that, and I was like, oh yeah, because he does, it's kind of like cool, just a lot of cool guitar stuff, honestly.
Oh, I think people recognize when he played some of those like tribute shows or like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies.
I think I've watched that.
Yeah,
many times.
well, I mean, he.
While my guitar gently weeps.
Yeah, and he just destroys that song. I should find less violent metaphors. but I mean, it's just his guitar work and how precise he could be. People think of him as just, it's sort of the same way I feel about Eddie Van Halen. I like his rhythm parts as much as I like his solo work.
Yeah.
Because his rhythm parts can really drive the song, and people don't recognize the thing that's holding the melody line together, or the thing that's holding the song together, is often his rhythm part.
Yeah.
But fine soloist. I'm not going to argue about that. But I think that they overlook part of what he could do, and I felt the same way about Prince.
Yeah. Well, and that's when I went in the studio, because it was just me and Patrick, and we broke out the synths, man, the drum machines.
Well, I mean, and the new song is okay. So it makes sense. You say like 80s, but it also to me feels like you're purposely trying to stretch your muscles. Like musically, you're trying new things. It works really well, I thought.
Thank you.
A couple of people have requested the song, who I know, but didn't know to request you, right?
Ah.
They wanted the song, but they didn't know that Kyleen Downes made the song. I thought, well, I'm not so sure if that's good or bad.
If people request the song,
Okay, it's a win.
That's a win.
But I thought, okay, well, that tells me something, right? That they didn't associate, because I mean, obviously, I was a big fan of Last Drop, and So It Goes. I think I played them a lot, but that there's that synthetic element to this, which is different than what you did before.
It's so funny to me because, honestly, I'm such a guitar nerd that I keyboard them like, hey. But then all of a sudden,
really?
But then all of a sudden I was like, well, actually, I kind of like that. It kind of got me back listening to Blondie, who I always really enjoyed. The
Was a
Bangles,
front woman. Debbie Harry was amazing, and of course, as a vocalist, there's lots of interesting things she did that I don't think people recognized.
Yeah, I think they really experimented with their sound. And oh my God, it's about 4:00.
Oh, there it is. So many people now request one headlight. I've only played it once in nearly 18 years.
It's got a good intro.
Oh, it's a
You're
great
listening
intro.
to
And the way it
WDR,
builds.
Dayton, Ohio. 99.5 and 98.1.
Well, let's
WDR.
let it go into the new song and then talk. Is that okay?
I like that. Yeah.
Hi, this is Dayton musician Kyleen Downes, and you are listening to WUDR Dayton, rock in the Gem City.
I think. Did you play this like at some Porch Fest or other shows before
Last
you
Porch
recorded
Fest,
it?
Yeah. So I wrote it on my looper pedal, which is also like I just wrote everything as a loop, and then it was like, okay, how am I gonna make it a song now?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, I didn't work it out with the band, so like, actually when I had to play it for Guitar Fest, I had a short set, it was like 10 minutes, and I was like, oh,
Ooh,
I'll
that
play
is a
this
short
song.
set.
Yeah, so I wanted to squeeze 3 songs in, and I did it, but I did some cuts in this, and I was like, that was what I needed. But I wouldn't have done it had I not been forced to have to reconfigure it.
Oh, that's interesting. So playing a really short set kind of helped you finish the song.
I trimmed the just kind of not exciting part. I mean, it just kind of like lingered too long.
Well, sometimes though there are lots of bands where I think what I love is that languid kind of just calm is the wrong word. I forget how to put it, but just that kind of the song just slowly expands, right? And there are lots of times where I love that. There are a few times I will not list any progressive rock bands by name, but I'm like, can we get to the hook?
Yeah. I know, I always do the Tom Petty quote, don't bore us, get to the chorus.
Yeah,
Which
that.
doesn't apply for every song. Totally doesn't. But I think part of what I enjoy with this song is like, I like to solo. But at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I'm having a lot of fun. Is the audience still having fun? Maybe not. Maybe they're like, okay, you're having fun playing guitar, but like we're listening.
So do you notice when you're on stage people looking at their watches or?
So it helped me be like, okay, how long are you gonna do this?
Yeah.
How long are you gonna get back? And actually, some of it was like trying to cheat, like because I was like, ooh, I might need an extra loop. Like I'm not ready to jump. Boop, 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 the time you got it back.
Okay.
But I was like, no, you got to get tighter. So it pushed me in a good way.
Well, that's interesting though. I mean, it is very different than your other stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't mean that in any kind of critical way.
No.
Just as kind of a simple statement that it sounds so much different, especially than the last record,
Yeah.
which you did cut across a few genres, but I still think it was more a kind of I don't know, essential or kind of sound that people might associate with you.
Yeah.
Whereas this does have a very, is this like 86? Maybe it's 87.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, and part of when I write, I want things to sound different. Like
is that something that
yeah.
purposely matters to you? Of course, you don't have to wear the headphones, but you are more than welcome to do so.
But it makes me look more cool.
It does, and it adds to the whole audio video nature. Of course, there's the knob down there. You control how loud it is. Mics are hot. Kyleen Downes here on your Tuesday afternoon alternative with her brand new song. And what a great song it is. Tell me what you want to hear, which sounds different than her other music, kind of stretching those musical muscles. You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR Dayton. Rockin' the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. Gotta pay some bills here. We've been playing lots of music from artists who are on Dayton Porch Fest this Saturday, August 20th. It's a cool kickoff with a drum corps. If you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to come early. You've got the drum corps around 1:15, and then music blocks throughout the day, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, right? How much fun is that? Bands like Kyleen Downes, Amber Hargett, Sadbox, New American Pioneers, Chris Hyder, Charlie and Amanda Jackson, Sharon Lane, such a treasure. The Nautical Theme, Tino, Age Nowhere, and those are all acts that we played in the first hour of our program. I am so happy. It has been 4 years.
4 years. Oh goodness.
Yeah, okay, we talked about this off air, how time seems both faster and slower.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyleen Downes here in the studio. She's working on new music. She'll be playing Porch Fest. There's probably other things we should be talking about too.
I feel like, yeah, I've got so many fun little things happening right now. Yeah.
And that's so exciting.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It's
Thanks
so
for
good to be
coming.
back in here. Yeah, I went back through my Instagram feed and I was like, I gotta find that awesome picture because we both do the same like, yay, happy face. So we had a picture of side by side of our faces and I was like, oh my gosh, that was March 2018, which is when I put out my EP Friends.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
and then yeah, time got away from us and then of course obviously the last 2 years, you know, we all know. So it's just cool to be back in here, looking at the beautiful blue skies, checking out the posters.
Well, it's going to be exciting, and not that you should wait over a year, but they're building a new performing arts center for the university, and I am told, I feel like every time I say this, I should knock on wood or something, but I have been told that we are moving there when it's all done. And while this space is really wonderful, I love these windows with the light. But we're moving to that new space. We actually had a say in the setup of the studio. Things like soundproof doors, big
Nice.
plus for radio.
I would imagine. You hear all the
That's
out
right,
there.
that's right.
Will you have a performance space? Because that is one thing
That's the
too. When
plan.
you have people in to do music, often it's cramped quarters in here for guitars or other instruments.
It is a wee tight. It is a little bit tight. You are quite right about that, Kyleen. So there is a performance space. There is an auditorium, and what's lovely is we're told. If I sound hesitant, you know, I haven't seen any plans, but I believe people when they tell me things until proven otherwise. That there'll be a hardline connection, so we'll be able to actually have performances and things like that, and then be able to go live on the air with them. And
So exciting.
I know, right? I'm so
I'll come
excited.
back. I won't wait 4 years next time.
That's a good idea. Well, and it's lovely to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
I do have to say, the new song, we were talking off air, it is very different than the songs on Come On, Sit Down or Friends.
Yeah, we played a lot with synthesizers, drum machines, like it's a drum machine on there. So I wrote the song on my looper pedal and it kind of came together. I was talking to you about just like through playing it live, having to trim it up for, you know, timing. And then I took it into the studio with Patrick Himes over at Real Love and I said, okay, here, like I just sent him what I had, which I create a beat on my acoustic. I do a little like that's all part of how I do it with the looper. And I was like, okay, how are we gonna get it going? I will say this because I think a lot of people think Kyleen Downes acoustic guitar. I love to rock my acoustic guitar. There's an acoustic guitar on this song. It's playing the little bass line. So it's in there. And then we just, we layered a lot on with, I think the drum machine was a lot of fun because the drum machine, you know, you're just pressing buttons. So Patrick did all the pressing the buttons and it was really fun to kind of watch him like, I don't know, just get in the groove with like how he would attack the button and or be like, oh, we should add some hi-hats there or like little clap, you know, it's got like the very classic 80s clap. And then we broke out, I think we put 3 synthesizers on that. So I've had some keys on, you know, past recordings, but I have probably only had a synth on one song, and this was like, let's get out 3 synths, let's make it, let's just go for it. And I told you I wanted it to sound like an 80s song. Like I wanted it, I wrote it after being inspired by learning a Prince song, so I wanted it, I don't know, it just kind of came out of that, so that aesthetic was just in my mind, and so yeah, I was like, let's give it a shot, Patrick. And
well, if you're going for 80s excess, one synthesizer or one keyboard or one guitar is not enough.
Layer it up.
Well, so I will be very excited to hear about like you opening for Loverboy or trying to think like 80s bands.
Well, Blondie's still touring, and I actually
there you
know the mom of their current guitar player. He took lessons from Jim McCutcheon.
Oh, really?
Centerville, down in Centerville. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just put that out there. Put that out birthday.
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
Although, wait, Dr. J, I only have the one 80s song. Then everything else will sound more like
Uh-oh.
Sheryl Crow or Brandi Carlile. So maybe I should still angle to hit them up.
Yeah, one song might be "Thank You, Good Night." Like, did she just play one song? Enjoy Blondie.
Although as an opener, sometimes isn't that, they're like, oh, here comes the opener. Oh, one song, best opener ever! Bring on the main act.
Oh wow! Not that I have felt that, because I often think
Do you
that
enjoy that?
openers can be a great way to discover a band you didn't know, or
I just saw Sheryl Crow, and I think the band was Southern Avenue.
oh yeah,
Opened up, hadn't heard of them before, and oh my
they're
gosh,
very good.
what a blast! Yeah, so, yep.
And
It's kinda
then you
fun.
feel weird, like you get there early to see the opener, and you look around. This is so empty. Where is everybody?
And then actually, sometimes that's nice, right? Because you're like, wow, I can stand up, I can kind of move, I don't feel like I'm in anybody's way, I can, yeah, like have my own little private show here.
30, 40 minutes, suddenly, wait, where'd all these people come from?
Yeah.
But I also have to ask, so what was it about, like, learning the Prince song that got you interested in 80s music, or at least, your interpretation of 80s music?
Well, I think when I'm learning a song, a lot of times it kind of slips into my subconscious, so I wake up maybe singing songs, and during that time I woke up with like a little tune in my head, and then also just the physical technique of playing something on the guitar, like I was doing a little lick that was higher on the strings, it felt a little funkier, and so that was kind of in my muscle memory. So I think it was just during that time that that little bit of influence was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I feel like, I have a new appreciation for some of the synth sounds. I mean, a lot of the music coming out now is like such a cool, is it amalgamation, like a combination of all these sounds coming together that feel either, some feel really organic, and then some feel so like otherworldly, and then they come together and you're like, wow, this is new and exciting. And so yeah, I think I kind of just was like, why not?
Yeah,
Why not
yeah.
some more synthesized sounds, as opposed to like, I mean, I love, the acoustic guitar, like you just hit it, and that's always what's resonated with me, but I think I've opened up a little bit to go like, well, that's just kind of a neat sound in general. And so the song is basically remixed. There's a little touch up that I'm sure you know Icicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Icicle is creating a remix. So if this sounds different, when
Just
you hear
wait.
what he's created, people will be like, oh wow, this is very different for a Kyleen Downes sound. Which honestly, it's a very cool creation of his that features the song. I don't know. It's very exciting, and it's something that I think maybe now coming out of just having a lot of downtime with COVID, where you kind of think like, what am I hanging on to that I feel like is so precious? Like, what am I hanging on to that I feel like, oh gosh, if it doesn't fit a certain idea of what people have an idea of me, is that going to be good, bad? I don't know. Now it's kind of like, I think it's fun. Nothing's too precious. None of these songs are that precious that I can't just explore and see what happens with them without having to think like, are you reaching your target audience? I don't know. But so
It sounds like you're now in a meeting with a group of accountants who have
and
charts they want to show you.
there's good balance to making sure you're running a good business as an independent musician, but then also giving yourself the creative outlet as an artist too. So,
And that freedom to experiment, right? That liberty to experiment has got to be important as an artist, right?
yeah.
That if you just churn out the same song over and over and over, that's got to get dull for you.
And maybe even for the audience.
Unfortunately, that's probably the case, right?
Yeah.
But we think about artists. I know we've been talking about Prince today, and people would say, oh, well, he had a very particular sound. Well, I'm sorry, 1999 and Purple Rain were very different records. For You or Prince or Controversy or, some of his other latter records.
Yeah.
They had very different sounds or feels to them. And I think he was always trying to do something that he found interesting and experiment.
Yeah.
And so I think experimentation is healthy and good for an artist.
Yeah, it's fun, and it just feels like as we evolve as humans, you know, our tastes evolve too, or not to feel limited. It's just exciting. I don't know. I've got other songs I've been working on, and I don't know. It feels when you don't put those limitations down, like it just feels so freeing, and it just you have that same excitement you did when you first started doing it, and nobody maybe pegged you in a certain genre. Because that's actually, I think, I don't know. Now I'm just going off on a tangent, but like I know when you upload, like a lot of people, if they're releasing music, they use a digital distributor, and any song you could check a different genre for. So if you're doing singles, you could have a pop single, you could have a rock single. So you have that, that luxury too, just to be like, this song is going to be categorized as that, and it's not your whole identity. It's not your whole catalog that you have to peg.
And that's important in so many ways, not just for an audience, but for the artist, right?
Yeah.
That there's ways to explore that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR Dayton. Welcome. Sit a spell. Grab a drink. We're going to be here for a while.
I think so.
Well, I was talking to the listeners, Kyleen, but you help yourself.
Well, cheers, listener. I'll take a little sip of my water.
This is WUDR Dayton, rocking the Gem City, music in all directions, support your local music scene. We're here with one of my favorite local musicians, Kyleen Downes, who has new music for you. So I'm just going to call it Tell Me for short.
Okay.
Can people get that pretty much everywhere at this stage?
Yeah. It's out on Spotify and Apple Music. I know that's people's main go-to, but also Bandcamp. Just go Kyleen Downes at Bandcamp. And then also my website, KyleenDownes.com. It's KYLEENDOWNES.com.
And of course, I have to toot our horn here.
Yes,
on
let's toot.
September 16th
Yay!
at the Yellow Cab Tavern. We've got you, Nick Kazernis, Icicle. You and Nick are both releasing new singles.
Exactly. So the remix that I was talking about for Tell Me, featuring Icicle. So Icicle's doing the remix, so he's also going to be opening up. I highly recommend checking his set out, because he's just going to be very different from what me and Nick do.
Oh, sure.
And so that'll be a fun contrast of music styles.
And it's a great way to experience three, I think, really exciting Dayton artists in one show.
And so what I'm really excited about is, so me and Nick Kazernis, we've been working together on some things, and I played with him last August. I was his backup guitar player for his music, and we actually collaborated on a song that I'll be releasing, hopefully next year. And he was like, what if we played a show together, he's like, I got something, I'm working on for a release. And I was like, okay, well, I want to maybe release this remix. And we're like, cool, so we got these remixes. And we were thinking, how would we put this together? Because he typically plays with Patrick Himes on bass and Brian Hoflick on drums. And I was like, it'd be really cool is if we join forces. We'll be one band, so our rhythm section, amazing powerhouse duo of Patrick and Brian.
Yeah.
And then me and Nick will trade off throughout the set of doing Kyleen Downes songs and doing Nick's songs. So he's busy learning some of my songs. I've fortunately already learned some of his, but we'll be brushing up. So it's just going to be one giant set of both of our music in a completely different way. I mean, it will be, you'll be hearing Nick Kazernis play guitar on a Kyleen Downes song, and so that'll be completely different from, and having Patrick and Brian play as well. So it's like experiencing the songs in a completely new way. And then if you're familiar, obviously, with Nick Kazernis' album, anytime you hear Nick Kazernis, it's completely different from the album, because he's singing.
Right.
And then we'll be backing him up, and Nick is so awesome. He lets me have reign of some of those guitar licks. Even though I try and tap into the Todd Widener and the Crazy Joe licks if I can get them. But so it's going to be just a very unique, I don't know, one time only, these four musicians coming together playing these songs.
Well, and That's so exciting. There's that experience at going to a show where, okay, this band was great, now they got to tear down their equipment and, and no disrespect, right? Because
Yeah.
folks have really got that down to a science.
Oh yeah.
And I've been impressed how fast people can vacate a stage or set up on a stage. But the idea of a true musical collaboration, right?
Yeah.
Icicle is remixing these songs, and then you and Nick are basically sharing the same band
Yeah.
and playing with one another. Just kind of brings everything together. I think that sounds really cool.
I hope so, because I know I'm super excited about it, just because I love these guys so much, and I'm like, wow, this will be cool to get to hear the music this way. It's kind of what I was talking about too, just taking liberties and feeling more free. It's like you can get up there with a brand new group of people and play songs and see how they bring it together. This is going back to Dayton Pride, but I put together a band of Paige Beller, Abigail Moon, and Cisco Red
Right.
to play my songs, and we rehearsed, and they brought their complete own take to the songs, and it was so fun. It was so cool. And it's just when you're on stage with people that you care about and they're phenomenal at what they do, you just get to have this brand new experience.
It has to elevate what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You want to bring your A game to something like that. You don't want to phone it in.
Yeah, it really keeps it fresh and exciting, and hopefully for the audience too. I mean, I've got some amazing people that come out to shows, and I'm excited for them to have an opportunity to come out and be like, okay, I know how this song goes, but how are you guys all going to put it together?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to be different for me to hear, because I know and appreciate the music that I can, get to be a part of, because I know this will be a little different or that'll be different.
And that's got to be just really thrilling for you as an artist, that your music can move in a completely different way than you heard it,
Yeah.
or in a very different way than you made it.
Yeah.
And yet something that you didn't anticipate becomes so interesting to you that they pick up on some element that maybe wasn't as obvious, or kind of, you didn't focus on that.
Yes.
And they bring something completely different to the table.
Yeah, it's new life. And it goes to say, I do have to make sure I'm on my A game, because sometimes I get to listening. Then I'm like, oh no, I'm listening.
With the
and I don't
people
know
you
my part.
suggest, I think that would easily be the case.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, this is gonna be really special. I'm so excited we're doing this.
Well, gosh, there have been several times where Paige has played with other people. I think of like
Mm-hmm.
the New Old Fashioned, or Nick's album release show. She and Kate were really, really beautiful in terms of the way their voices
Yeah.
work together. And I find myself going, okay, I'm only focusing on that when I should be focusing on the whole experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is kind of a sweet nugget of like, this is happening in this moment. Will it happen again? I don't know, And yeah, this way too, if there's people out there who like, oh, that's right, I need to get to a Nick Kazerna show, or I need to get to a Kyleen Downes show, they could be like, oh, perfect. September 16th, I can check them both off, because they'll both be there.
Well, I'm going to give you a chance to whip out that guitar of yours that you were so graciously brought with you.
I didn't know. I didn't know if I'd need it.
Well, I see it right there.
It's hanging out.
And,
It's never goes anywhere without. It's
and
kinda
she's
like flour.
calling to me. She's calling to me. Right? And Flower would be upset with me if I didn't ask you to play a couple of songs. I do think I may have asked kind of in a roundabout way, but do you mind playing a couple songs
I
for
would
us?
love to. Yeah.
So let's play a couple of different songs, I think.
Yeah.
Both from the more recent record, Come On, Sit Down. If you've got Time Won't Matter, and then Give Up the Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Are both very, very interesting songs, really exciting songs, but different
Yeah.
from one another.
Yeah. I like that you're gonna play Time Won't Matter, because that one definitely hits hard. That was a pretty emotional song to write, and it kind of came out, and I judged it a little bit. I was like, do I really want to sing about this? I have a lyric in there about cancer, and I was like, oh, that's, I don't know, it's too dark. But I was like, it came out. So that was a good learning song for me to say. If it came out, don't don't censor yourself. So, and then Give Up the Ghost is my hootin' and hollering song. So.
It is. Well, I mean, and your energy when you perform it, among other songs, is just so infectious.
I get intense. So intense.
You are such a good interviewer.
Oh, I just get excited to chat. So, yeah, I can play some songs. What?
Anything you want to do.
Do I play here? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you? Well, I can give you that. If you want to sit, you can use that chair, which doesn't has
Usually stand,
words,
but
does not have arms. I don't talk for a living or anything. or if you want to stand up, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. Uh-oh.
And then I will make a few adjustments with cameras here and get the very expensive elevation equipment out for
So I didn't really think of, well, I mean, I know some of the songs that you enjoy, but do you have any requests?
That's a good question. I'm kind of playing them, aren't I?
Well, I know.
I mean, I always like to exhale a lot. I of course, you know, I have a strange fixation with perfect ending.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's how we became friends. Because you're like, I like your song. You want to come be on my radio show? I'm like, yay, okay.
Well, then I would think that's exactly how everything is supposed to work. But of course, honestly, anything you want to do is fine with me. It's very kind of you to be willing to do this.
Yeah. I also really like, on this song, Charlie wrote a really cool guitar part. And when we play it live, for a while I never heard it. I never heard it really until we got to the recording studio, and then you have to listen in a different way. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Hi, Dave. This is Kyleen Downes from Dayton, among other places. People that we've talked about. We should make sure we only say nice things.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, people.
All those jerks out there.
That is the one amazing, super amazing
There are no
thing.
jerks.
Seriously, right? I keep thinking I'm gonna come across people here in Dayton who are musicians and they're gonna be mean people or awful people, and they're not, right?
Because you've been, obviously hip to the scene for a while. I mean, I've lived here over 10 years, but do you think that's just because of the culture that has just started and grown?
Great question. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, maybe there's some of that Midwestern, kindness and graciousness.
That's true. Yeah, there's
that aw shucks.
Well, that's a good point.
But I also think there's something where people are aware that why would you say something mean about someone who might be able to make a kind assist?
Yeah.
Who might be able to play a show with you, or I have seen people literally run through the streets to get to their car to get well, I totally lost the train of thought. To get guitar strings to give to somebody else.
Aww.
Right?
Yeah.
On more than one occasion, I've seen Dave Payne hand his guitar to somebody on stage.
Yeah.
Or I've seen, the Nautical Theme folks, right? Matt and Tesha, literally give a power cord to somebody so they can plug something in.
Yeah.
I think there's a kind of honest to goodness community where people are supportive, not simply because they feel the need that they have to be, but because they want to live in a community where people look out for each other.
I think that's it. Yeah, because it's why it's such a fun thing that you get to do. Keep it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't muck it up.
Be serious about it, or give it your all. Dedicate yourself to it, but don't take yourself so seriously or become, in a way, an unhealthy kind of competition.
Yeah, because when you go out to see people.
Do you need this up more, or?
What do you think?
I would at least tilt it up a little.
Okay.
If you're comfortable with that.
Yeah. No, I'll defer to you on how the balance works good with the acoustic guitar. Yeah, because like when you go out to shows, like it's like fun socializing. It's like, cool, I get to see my friends.
Yes. And that's what truly I felt like COVID took from so many of us. All these people who were friends, or at least I was at minimum friendly with, and then poof, it was all gone. It was all gone in a heartbeat, and I didn't realize until like a few weeks into it how much I miss just hanging around these folks.
Yeah.
Oh, that was hard.
Yeah, and a lot of people that you just kind of by default saw that way.
Yeah. Well, I'll let it do a couple of the usual IDs here.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Dr. J, for that kind assist. I really appreciate it. You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative here on WUDR Dayton, rocking the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. We are here with our good friend Kyleen Downes. It is so nice to have you here.
I'm having a blast.
I really appreciate it. She brought her mighty guitar, and so I, of course, took the opportunity, as mercenary as I am, to say, would you mind playing a few songs? And she so kindly agreed.
Yeah.
What do you have for us?
Well, I'm gonna play Perfect Ending because that's our friendship song. That was one of the it's off my first album, and you invited me to come on the show, and so yeah. All right.
Day, if you
Grinning like a nitty. I love that song.
Oh, I'm so glad. No, it's such a sweet little song. Actually, on the recording, it's a ukulele, and I feel like the ukulele is just the sweetest sound. There's actually a group in Yellow Springs called the Ukulele. I think it's 4-string fun, but it's a group of ukulele players, and they learned that song and they play it, and it's so cool. And then there's like a little ukulele solo in it, and so yeah, they kind of took it under their wing. They're like, "That's a uke song. We want to learn it."
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think it works really well on guitar, though.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, I wrote it on guitar, and then I was like, ugh.
Oh, what?
I think because it just kind of sounded, going back to like, I just want every song to sound like kind of have its own voice. And I was like, gosh, it just doesn't feel like it. The guitar, I mean, it, totally works, but I was trying to find its particular voice. And then in the recording, it's ukulele, and then we put a little bass on it, and now I picture like a big upright bass and a little ukulele being sweet together, taking a walk. So.
Well, that sounds like a cool cartoon video to go with the song.
Yeah. We did make a music video.
You did.
If anybody's curious on YouTube, Perfect Ending features sock puppets.
That's right. I think the video is cute as well. Well, I don't want to just put a label on the song because I think the song is really sweet. I think that's really the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But the video has a sweetness as well.
It was fun to put together. It was kind of the brainchild of Charlie Skira, who plays guitar on a lot of my recordings and stuff like that. So it was fun to put together. I mean, we storyboarded that video. We made it like a little mini movie.
And it really works well for the song. And I like the ending when they're on the swings and you've got the camera pulls back and you notice like, okay, maybe things are gonna work out. Oh, I'm not saying that they're. I'm not saying that they did. I'm just saying that it seems like
it could potentially be a
maybe. Kyleen Downes here in the studio. I am so happy to have her here. I cannot believe it's been 4 years. That's way too long.
Too long.
That is so long. You are playing Porch Fest. You must be excited. I love Porch Fest. All the great musicians, just the great community feel.
Yep.
Right? And you've played several times.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this is my 4th time.
That could be.
I'm always on the same porch. I love it. I'm at 42nd High Street. And so I've become good friends with the porch owners there. They're amazing. And I think what's so great about it is it's mini concerts, right? So you can really take in a lot. You can even catch 2 people in 1 hour, like, if you want. And it's like you get your map. It's like a little treasure map for local music. You print it off. You're ready.
I've got color coding and everything.
It's a good way to it's free, and it's such a good way to take in people of all sounds that, typically may play later at night, or different venues that aren't easily accessible. I mean, you're just in the street. You can walk around, and, one year I was like, I need to bring my bike, because the only way I'm going to catch some of these people is if I, get a bike to go. But also just give yourself permission to say, I'm not going to catch everybody, but, you can still get ambitious and do a good little, game plan to circle all the people that you want to hear. I looked at my block. I'm playing at 4 p.m. So many good people playing at 4 p.m.
It is kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair.
I'm going to miss friends. Obviously, I'm going to miss friends. But, that's the beauty of this event is that there's not a bad porch.
Oh, and just at 4 o'clock, you've got klezmer music. You've got folk, Americana, folk rock, country rock. Trying to think what else we've got here. Space rock, exciting, hip hop. All of that happening in a bunch of porches in 1 hour. I mean, it's so exciting. I have wormed my way onto the music committee,
Have you?
It was just a joy.
Oh,
It-
I bet.
You know, I have to say, as an academic, committee work is not high up there on the I want to do this. I really want to do this scale.
Yeah.
But it was such a joy to work with Peter and Libby and Sonny and the folks
Oh,
involved
yeah.
with Porch Fest. And there were so many folks who applied. There were so many.
Well, it's growing. I remember, I think I did it, like there was the trial year, the beta year, if you will. And then the next year I was a part of it. But yeah, now it's just, they're so good at what they do on putting together a good event.
Oh, they run it so well.
Musicians are like, wow, I want to experience this. So, yeah, I bet.
So if you're just tuning in, first of all, thank you very much for spending part of your day with us. I'm Dr. J. I am your host and musical interior designer for 3 hours. I'm just combining things from HGTV shows. It's okay. No one need know. No one need know. You are listening to WUDR Dayton, Flyer Radio, rockin' the Gem City, music in all directions, support your local music scene. We are joined today by my good friend Kyleen Downes. She has a terrific new song that's available anywhere you can buy and stream music. She is playing Porch Fest